Does Danny Garcia deserve an Errol Spence rematch at 154?
I don't know, man.
Hi, welcome to our channel. I'm Jay.
And I'm D.
And this is R26,
R26,
where we talk everything boxing and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. In today's video, we will be discussing, does Danny Garcia really deserve a rematch with Errol Spence Jr. at 154 pounds? But before we discuss that, we would just want to recap the fight last night, the David Benavidez card. And we just want to recap the fights we saw on there. We watched the heavyweight fight on there with, who I can't pronounce their name.
Kanawaki. And Ali. Bambayek. No. But yeah, so the heavyweight fight was nice. I kind of liked it. It was pretty cool. They had Gary Russell and, man, we horrible with these.
Wait, you skipping over the heavyweight fight? The heavyweight fight was cool. It actually went all the way. I thought somebody was gonna get knocked out.
In the first couple rounds, the Kawanaki, or the dude who got the punch 100 punches, he was doing his thing in the first 2 rounds, but it didn't look like he was doing any real damage because he was hitting them hard and everything.
Yeah, he had
like
a chin. The guy he was
but
fighting,
the guy
had a chin.
he wasn't backing up. He wasn't backing down. And even in the first rounds, you could just tell, like, man, if one of these guys just start moving their head, they gonna win the rest of the fight. Well, that's exactly what happened. Round 3 come in, and oh boy, Ali come in. He was slipping punches more. He was moving around a little bit more, stuff like that. Not nothing major, just a little slip here and pop, pop, pop.
He did have good head movement.
And then he started hitting them with the combo too, that uppercut and the straight in the first couple rounds when he first came out to that third. And then he kept tagging with that straight. Put the little rook up on his eye. He was good to go. Yeah. So after that, it was over. Like, he wouldn't Kawanaki or Kanawaki or whatever. I can't pronounce his name, y'all. My bad.
It was a good fight.
He
was a good
fighter,
fight,
man. But he just he didn't move his head and he didn't change his game plan pretty much. It was a flat-footed fight with nobody bouncing around. So, you know, whoever tagged who the most or whoever was gonna fall was gonna lose that fight, and that's kind of how it ended.
Yeah.
It was good though.
It was decent.
I still don't think neither one of them would beat Big Baby though.
Jared Anderson.
Shout out Jared. You know what I'm saying? That boy got head movement.
He's way too slick, fast. He would have ran circles around both of them.
His head movement is something different than whatever they just did.
He would have ran circles around both of them.
Yeah.
And then we come about to Gary Ruck. Which one is it?
Antoine Russell.
Whichever one of those Russell brothers.
Boy, Gary, man. That's what
Gary. That's not Gary.
Yeah, it's Antoine.
Antoine Russell.
Antoine.
You keep saying Gary Antoine Russell.
Right, that ain't what it is. It's
one of the Russell brothers.
Russell.
This was a big fight for him. I guess they were saying this is his statement fight, his come out fight. He got the stoppage. So did he make the statement that he did? I mean, listen, did you guys think that he made a statement? Leave the comments below and let us know how you feel about his fight. But to give my 2 cents, he came out swinging. The other guy looked like he was giving him some good competition. He did get caught a few times in the fight. And I actually agree with the referee's stoppage, because when I replayed it and looked at it, it looked as though the other guy was still a little stumbly after the 10 count when the referee was telling him to walk forward and things like that. So I don't know. You think they'll do a rematch?
Well, the dude really was like, let's get the rematch without this ref, and the trainer was like, let's get a rematch without this ref. Even in that little sequence, he said, you know, we not saying that he gonna whoop his ass, but at least we know for sure we're gonna be able to test Antoine Russell, so Antoine Russell could showcase his skills. He was like, in this fight, he didn't get to showcase his skills because it's bum ass ref. So I felt the trainer on that end, because you're right.
I mean, but I knocked you out and got the stoppage. That's the same thing you can say about the Crawford fight.
It wasn't a knockout. So let's quit this whole knockout, because we had this conversation.
It was a stoppage.
Exactly. A stoppage is not a knockout. It's considered on paper a 10 count knockout, yes, but the dude was not asleep. He was still standing up, and you could say he was wobbly. You could say he's not. We wasn't in his face when he was right there. The ref, whatever you could say about the ref, he decided that he didn't think he could still going. It is what it is, but I don't know. I didn't see him be so wobbly to the point, even after he did the whole waving off, the guy's response was immediate. His reaction was, instant. It wasn't
what does
like
that mean?
It wasn't like he was so woozy that he didn't even realize that he was getting waved off. Like, he was pissed.
But the count was already over,
you're right,
and you
you're right.
still wasn't
well,
together.
Then he should have called it a 10 count already. He shouldn't have asked him no questions, stepping forward, any of that. That was a waste of time.
He was doing it before the count was over.
That's what I'm saying. He should have already waited.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know.
That's just my opinion, though. I'm not saying that the ref was wrong, but I'm not saying he was right either, because the dude was not out of there. Same thing with the same issue with, like, we had on the live the other night. Last night we was talking about, this is not a real stoppage. This is not a real knockout, blah blah blah, on Antoine Russell. When we was talking about it, remember? Right.
Speaking of, make sure you guys join us fight nights for our live watch parties that we have. Come on, drop your 2 cents, chill, watch the fight with us, join the conversation. We have a good time.
Right. So, so when they were saying that, I was thinking in my head, like, wow, it's crazy how this stoppage is not a real knockout or real stoppage, because they don't agree with what the ref said, right?
So that's not a real stop.
But this is what I'm saying. I'm just saying, because in 2 cents, this is just my 2 cents, right? I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with the ref. I'm saying that the opinion of the people who watched it is saying, hey, this wasn't a knockout.
That's their 2 cents.
This is not a knockout because he stopped it and this guy's still standing up and arguing. So if that's the case, if we use that same logic when you go to Sean Porter and them, okay, that's all.
Listen,
my
was
2
it a
cents.
knockout?
That was my 2 cents.
Drop your 2 cents below. Let us know if you think it was a knockout.
I just want to throw that out there.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Because everybody is okay with the, that's not being a knockout when the refs say no, but it's a knockout when Sean Porter daddy throw the thing in and the dude telling me, come on, I'm ready to fight. That's considered a knockout, because y'all want to give Crawford that W like he really knocked him out. But we're not talking about that right now. Let's go to the next thing.
Now let's talk about Danny Garcia's performance against Jose Benavidez. And
hold on. Before we talk about Danny Garcia's performance against Jose, let's talk about Jose's performance. Now, Jose's performance before the fight and coming up to the fight, I really was like, yo, this dude has...
I had my money on Jose.
I had no money on him.
I had no money.
I had the belief that he has the skill, the ability to hand speed, and a little bit more
power.
I didn't think he had power.
I
just thought he had a little bit more to give than what he showed, and he would show it because he had a bad outing last fight. So now, after watching him fight and watching him go through the rounds, I realized he was bullshitting about coming out there and putting hands out like that, because it's 2 things. Maybe he really wasn't bullshitting and he allowed himself to get beat up in the guts like that, like he did, and maybe he couldn't throw his punches. Maybe it really hindered him from throwing more punches because the body shot slowed him down. He couldn't move like he wanted to. He underestimated the body shots and the power of Danny Garcia. That could be the case on why he looked so horrible in this fight, because he didn't let his hands go. He didn't let us show us that he had hand speed. He didn't throw no real combinations. He didn't do anything different besides moving forward and leaning back. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was real no defense even when he was getting tagged. So yeah, to make it short, Jose Benavidez did not show up for that fight. And it might have been that he just didn't show up for the fight, or it might have been that Danny Garcia really just thumped his body enough. And I'm sure as we speak, as many body shots as he took, what they said, like 160 body shots landed?
I don't even know.
Yeah, it was like 160 body shots landed. So as we speak, we all know, just a shout out to the toilet, and David Benavidez at the shit he probably doing right now.
Well, that's your 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents. He got the shit beat out of him.
Danny Garcia had a decent performance. He moved well in the ring. I didn't get to see him throw his hookers. That hook he liked to throw. But I guess because that's why Benavidez took all those body shots. He had a high guard up the whole fight because he wasn't trying to catch that hook.
Yeah.
It was a decent fight. Danny Garcia looked decent at the weight. Like he said at the press conference, he was only like 100. He only gained like 5 pounds once he rehydrated. So I think he's very small for the division. I think he's gonna struggle because Benavidez is another 147 pounder that moved up. So I mean, it was a good fight. He won. I seen Tony Harrison was at the fight. I would love to see him fight Tony Harrison next. Who you got? Tony Harrison? Listen, Tony Harrison can box, and
Tony Harrison lose when he lose focus. That's it. When he lose focus, that's when he get clipped.
I'm not sure if
I don't think
Garcia can beat Tony Harrison.
I don't think Danny Garcia ever been in the ring with anybody like that.
With Tony Harrison?
Yeah. Tony Harrison move around, he slip a lot, you know what I'm saying? He's a problem for he'd be a problem. And he's a real 154. And you know, if Danny Garcia is really about going into 154 and doing something for real and making a name and this and that, if Harrison wants that fight, that's a good name to start with.
Yeah, I think it's plenty of good fights for Garcia at 154. There's plenty of people for him to fight. Unfortunately, Charlo has all the belts. He could possibly, or maybe not get a belt at 154. I think it's very, very plausible.
Yeah.
If he moved right throughout the division. But I would love to see him and Harrison next. Now, back to the topic of this video. Does Danny Garcia deserve a Errol the Truth Spence Jr. rematch at 154 pounds? To give my 2 cents, I'm gonna say absolutely not.
Absolutely.
If you couldn't beat Spence after a horrific death-beating accident, you're not gonna beat him 100%.
Chances slim
at 154. I understand, Danny Garcia, you had your mental health issues going on, but there were mental issues and physical issues that Spence had to overcome to be able to fight you.
Y'all check that fight out again, man. Look at the build up. That boy Spence was still slurring.
I mean, Spence himself said he was only at 70%. So Danny Garcia, if he was only at 70% at a smaller weight class, I don't know why you think you're gonna beat him at he's like at 120% now at 154. Spence is naturally the bigger man. He's naturally probably do better at a bigger weight class. He's gonna be more comfortable. He's gonna be more powerful. It just wouldn't be a good look or a good idea for Danny Garcia to try to fight Spence. Maybe Thurman.
Maybe
154. But this Thurman's still at 147, right?
Yeah, he's still at 150.
So I don't know. The rematch is out the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But you keep talking, Spence will whoop your ass again, though. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't think Danny Garcia should. I mean, it was good for him to talk like that because it helped build up his fight. I mean, you know, for what he did with Jose. So I understand why he did it, but in reality, like, dude, the comparison of mental anguish and issues, like, yeah, I'm not saying that you ain't had shit going on or that I don't believe you or nothing like that. I'm just saying that dude flipped in the air a bunch, bro. He hit his face on the concrete, you know what I'm saying? His car ejected him out the car. Like, go back and look at the pictures, man. Like, he was really. Yeah,
everybody know he wasn't. It's no excuse. There is no excuse to have law. Now, listen, don't take what I'm saying the wrong way. Theoretically, there was no excuse to lose to somebody that had just suffered and went through what Errol Spence had just went through. And to come out and say, oh, it was COVID, I was in a dark place. Listen, everybody was feeling like that at that time. So add that on top. See, you got to add that on top of what Spence was going through already. Because he also was going through COVID and all of those things too. So like Errol said in the tweet, man, nobody want to hear that for real. Like you any other situation, maybe you could have did that, but you can't do that because it's just not comparable. So Danny Garcia, he's a great fighter. He definitely has a chance to be competitive and win championships. I mean, not win championships, but possibly the chance to get another belt if Charlo dropped the belts or whatever the case may be. But an Errol Spence rematch at a higher weight class, it just wouldn't even make sense. I don't know if they capping or what. I mean, but they don't seem like the type to be capping.
Who?
Garcia and his dad.
Man,
Maybe they might really want to rematch. His dad might think he really can beat him, but
nah, they took the fight because he came off that. They took that fight because he came off the accident, and it didn't work out for him. They thought they could catch him slipping. I don't believe that Danny Garcia would even ever fought Spence had he not been in an accident. Let's look up the receipts and see when Danny ever said anything about fighting Spence before the accident, you know? So I don't think he ever thought to fight him or wanted to fight him or thought he matched up well against Spence. Like, let's think about how Spence was fighting before the accident. Did Danny Garcia match up to that?
I mean, they were supposed to fight before the accident. Everybody tried to make it seem like Spence be ducking or something. Spence is handling his business. He gonna fight y'all when he fight y'all. He not pressed.
Yeah, it's
not pressed.
I mean, you can always go back to, like I said, just go back to the receipts. This ain't even an opinion, you know. Spence said, I'm gonna knock everybody ass out, beat everybody ass up over in PBC, take all these belts, and then I'll go get the belt from whoever got it at that time later. That's what he's trying to do now. We all know he calling out the fight. He want the fight. His trainer's calling the fight out. He's promoting himself. So if this fight don't go, we all, like, let's not, come on, y'all can stop with the bullshit. But Spence ain't the reason why this fight won't go down. Let's be for real. Like, Spence will not be the reason why this fight don't go down. It will be because, you know, Crawford's, you know, trying to get whatever he can to make sure he's, you know, retired properly when he gets eye taken from Spence, you know. I mean, I understand. I'd be nervous too, you know. He takes a lot of eyeballs, you know. Danny got lucky though. Danny got lucky, and Porter got lucky. They had their eyeballs after the fight.
Well, I mean, that was a good fight. Porter just tough. I mean, you're not taking Porter eyeball.
No, I mean,
you're not taking Porter eyeball. Well, let us know what you think in the comment section below. Be sure to punch that like and subscribe button, and follow us at 2 Cents Boxing on Facebook and Instagram. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace, my people.